And then so I left that probably like halfway through. I was just like, this isn't helpful. And I'm honestly, my anxiety levels were getting so high by the end of the day from all the new people I'd met, and just all like even the day before had been pretty, like, because when you're in a new city, it's just going to raise your anxiety levels. When you're sleeping in not your own bed, it's going to raise your anxiety, especially if you are like me and you deal with that often. And so I was like, I got to leave. I feel like I'm going to crawl out of my skin. I can't be here anymore. So I left, got an Uber back to my hotel, went to my room, took a shower, laid down, and I just could not chill. My heart was pounding out of my chest, and my stomach was hurting, and I was like, my mouth is doing that thing that it always does before I'm about to puke, like where I drool, and I just know. And so I ran to the toilet and had to puke. And then I took another shower, rinsed my mouth out really good, and brushed my teeth, and then laid down and just listened to Lana Del Rey and Cœur Pirate music. Those artists calm me down. And so I just kind of enveloped myself in a blanket and pillows for 10-15 minutes until I felt okay. And then I got ready and went down for the party, the after party. Which was at the hotel that we were staying in. And it was, so I actually ended up 2 minutes early because I thought it started at 9, but really it started at 9:30. So I got there and got my drink ticket, and then I went over to the bar in the lobby because they weren't serving alcohol at the bars for the party yet. And so in the lobby, I ran into Skirt Guy again. His name's Michael, by the way. Chrisiosity, and I had met Chrisiosity in the bathroom earlier that day. She had spoken on a panel, and she and Skirt Guy are both, like I said, kind of more progressive, liberal, feminist, social justice-y people who were there, and it was kind of a big deal that they came. I don't know. I don't really know any of the background because I didn't know who they were until I got there that day. But the girl I talked to with the face piercings and some other people I talked to made it clear to me that there was some kind of rift between them and June and Greg, is that his name? Yeah, for some reason. And I just honestly I couldn't get anyone to explain it to me clearly, and I just didn't care enough to ask further than once. So I don't know. I don't care. I'll figure it out. But I don't know. There was some drama. But they were super duper nice. So I was talking to them at the bar and explaining to them that the party starts at 9:30 on the dot, and they're not serving alcohol till then, but they're giving out drink tickets. And so after I got my gin and tonic, we went over, me, Chrisiosity, Skirt Guy, and a friend of theirs. I don't remember if it was Vadim or Hadim. Let me look it up. Okay, I should just go to the Mythcon speakers page, right? I don't know where I was going with that. I guess I was just telling you who I was talking to. Yeah, so I was hanging out with them, and then so we were standing in the line for them to get their drinks and just chit-chatting and talking about politics, social issues, whatever, just whatever we were thinking about. And it was nice. They're cool people. And we just ended up hanging out. I hung out with them pretty much all night long, mainly with Skirt Guy, Michael. And okay, let's see, where else am I going with this? Yeah, so I met a lot of people. So I met Jacqueline Glenn at some point during that after party and talked with her for a few minutes. She was super nice. I met her during the day too. At Mythcon, I got a picture with her, but I had more of a conversation with her at the party, so that was cool, I guess. And then I got to talk to Theron Mayer again, which was cool. I don't know, it was one of those things where you don't want to be annoying and bug somebody, so you don't want to talk for too long and be weird, but you also don't want to seem like you're not interested in talking to them either. I don't know, I had a lot of I don't know how to handle the social interaction moments at Mythcon, but it was fine. Everyone's super nice. I mean, it's not a big deal. So then let's see what else. Oh gosh, so when Michael, me, Curiosity and Vadim got into like this main party room. There was musicians in the front corner of the room, and there was like a table by the musicians, and so we grabbed that table and we're just chilling, and he wanted to play one of the instruments, and so he was talking to the band people, and we were all just hanging out up at the front of the room. And at some point we decided we need more alcohol, so Michael goes to hunt for drink tickets because he's like, surely for the speakers speaking an extra drink ticket. And then Vadim went off somewhere, I think probably to try to find alcohol too, and they left me with this girl who's really awesome, the girl whose name I can't remember. Super awesome, cool girl, I think was what I decided to call her for this video. And we hung out and we both talked about how we were feeling really anxious and how like we both have trouble with social interactions sometimes when we feel like people don't like us, even though we know it's irrational for us to feel like that because they've not done anything to make us think that they don't like us. We just have this irrational belief that people don't like us. And it was nice to relate to someone on that level. And let's see, okay, so she and I hung out for a bit, and then I went and like did some rounds and then came back to the table, and then Michael got back, and then Curiosity came back at some point, and we were all just hanging out, having a good time. And then at some point there was like a small little like thing where Angel, who was one of the trans women who spoke at the panel at the conference, she's a Filipina singer, and she was actually on The Voice last year, and she's really, really cool, really awesome person, really inspiring story, and just really amazing woman. And she wanted to sing I Will Always Love You to celebrate Greg and June's engagement. And so they came up and they were sitting at the table where me and my new friends were sitting, and I wasn't aware of this, but there was some kind of rift between them and like those people, right? So I was like totally oblivious to that until after the fact when I realized that had happened. But it was fine. I mean, they seemed, and so Michael actually played played one of the instruments while Angel was singing to them, and it was really sweet and adorable. And then one of the conference organizers came and sang this like parody song of Starboy by The Weeknd, except it was about Sargon of Akkad and Gamergate and Anita Sarkeesian and stuff like that, and it was just kind of like, it was funny. And then so when he was singing that, I was literally sitting at a table with like Blair right and Joey on my right, and then Greg and June right in front of me, and then Theron Meyer behind me. And I was just like, how did I end up at the table with all of the YouTubers that I follow? Like, I couldn't have planned this better if I had tried, and I did not try. Like, I was hanging out with that random guy in a skirt that I found out later was a speaker, like, and we were only talking because he was wearing the same skirt that I own. So like, it was just like, you know, it's funny. I feel like I always have experiences like this where it's just like, yeah, I just kind of went with the flow and had a great time. That's how Dragon Con was too. So yeah, so that was fun. Let's see. Oh, I also met, my name is Josephine. She was really sweet. I met her during the day, not at the after party though. Let's see. Okay. I also met a girl named Heather. I want to say Heather is the name of the super cool girl that I liked a lot, but I don't know. I'm not positive. So let's see. And then, so after like the party, there I guess was kind of like an after party sort of, where we were all just hanging out in the hotel lobby. And so that's when me and Michael and girl that I think is cool, we were all sitting together, and we ended up meeting Brittany Simon, who's super sweet, really nice girl. And I wish we had gotten to talk for longer, because like she and we were talking about hair dye, and like it was such a good conversation, but like there were so many people for me to talk to that like I couldn't like talk to any one person for as long as I would have wanted to, unfortunately, but that's okay. We did exchange information on Twitter, so I can I'm sure we'll talk again. It's fine. let's see what else. Oh, and then so me and Michael and Super Cool Girl and Chrisiosity and Vadim and this guy in Devil Horns, I think, and a few other people. We ended up going up to one of our hotel rooms and we just drank up there and like played music on one of our speakers. Michael had brought speakers and just hung out and talked for like probably a good hour upstairs. And it was kind of nice to get away from like all of the intense partying, you know, and like crowd and just like hang out with a smaller group. And so that was really fun. And then after that, we went back downstairs and rejoined the party and I talked to like everyone. I talked to Angel. She was really nice. I talked to that moderator that I said I liked. I forgot her name, but I already said her name, so it's fine. And I talked to that doctor, Richard. Is his name Richard? Check Twitter. I'm so tired. Like, I'm exceptionally bad with names when I've not been sleeping a lot, and I didn't get enough sleep last night. Richard Carrier. I talked to him. I told him, you know, I was like, oh, you did the best you could with what you had there. And we talked a little bit about, like, I was telling him how, like, I noticed, like, a lot of the people at this conference, including Sargon of Akkad, use the word socialism like it's a bad word, like it's just inherently morally bad, and we don't even have to prove that as a premise. You know, we all just accept that it's evil. And I'm like, you guys know that there's a difference between socialism and Marxism, right? But then, like, I don't know, it got me thinking, like, you know, at this conference of skeptics, you know, there's still one thing that is not questionable, even to the skeptics, and that's capitalism. And I said, you know, Sargon of Akkad is a fundamentalist capitalist. You know, I said that to Richard Carrier. And he liked that term. And so that made me feel clever because I just came up with that on the spot. I mean, I'm sure I've heard someone else say it before, but whatever. I'm going to pretend that I made it up. And so that was fun getting to talk to... Oh, I talked to these really nice women, and they have a website. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, we talked about... their names are R.A. Fleming and Kay Burkowski. And they made a book called Why Men Made God, Redefining the Sacred. And it says, why do we only have one deity when there used to be so many? Where did the idea of marriage come from? What was so significant about grain? How did the disparity between the rich and poor begin? And when did we go from revering the earth to treating it like a resource to be plundered? So I'm definitely going to check out their website. And they were super nice. And we talked a lot about just... I don't even want to try to recap what we talked about, but they were super great women. And let's see, is there anyone else that I'm missing? Oh, I talked to this woman named, I want to say Anna or Anna. And she's married to one of the organizers of the event. She was really, really sweet, and we bonded, me and Anna, and I think her name is Kia. We bonded over being cat moms, and we like showed each other our pictures of our cats, and like they were super nice and super sweet. Let me see if her name was Kia. Yeah, that's her name. And yeah. And they were super sweet and super nice, and I met Angel when I was talking with them, and me and Angel got a picture. And then I met like the husband of the woman I met, Anna, and he was really cool. And I met a few other of the organizers. I met a lot of people who helped organize the event, because they were all just like hanging out with everyone and being super nice and friendly and easy to talk to, which is awesome. And then let's see what else. I pet 2 dogs, which was awesome. I love when I get to pet dogs. One of the dogs, the owners were saying she's really anxious and she bites and she probably won't want to be petted. And so I was like, okay, that's fine. But then the dog like came up to me and was licking my hand and stuff. So I took that as a sign that she wanted me to pet her. And she and I bonded for like a good 2 minutes or so. And they were like, wow, like she really likes you. This is so rare. So that made me feel good. And then she actually barked and growled at the next person who tried to approach her while she was still sitting with me. Like, she didn't want that other stranger. She just wanted me. So I was like, yes, I am the dog whisperer. Thank you guys for letting me show my talents off. It's not just cats that love me. Dogs too. And I met another dog who was so cute and tiny, and he like held up his hand to shake for me, and his owner was like, that was the moderator that I liked. Something Chen was her name. Let me just look it up. Melissa Chen? Yeah, Melissa Chen. She was really cool and really sweet, and she like took pictures of me with her dog, which I thought was nice of her. And okay, is that everyone that I talked to? I feel like that is. Oh, like there's a bunch of other random people I talked to. Like I talked to a bunch of MAGA hat people. I talked to like a religious fundamentalist. I don't know why he was at Mythcon, but it was fine. Everyone's welcome. So glad he came. I talked to a few other YouTubers who I don't know, like this guy in devil ears, which I really wanted to be cat ears. I was like, are those cat ears? And he's like, no, they're devil horns. And I was like, but cat ears are cuter. Yeah. And so, yeah, it was just a really fun weekend. I really enjoyed getting to talk with all those people in person, because talking online is just not the same. And yeah, so Mythcon, I would do it again. I like Milwaukee too. I would like to go back to Milwaukee. So I think that's everything. That's my story time.